Welcome to Herf Zone Live, the show that is unlike any other cigar show, the show where we have the most eclectic lineup of guests, of which some smoke cigars and some who don't. Either way, we bring you the best content weekly. Herf Zone Live is sponsored by StogieLives.com, a social media site just for cigar smokers. Sign up for free and connect with cigar lovers from all over the world. Set up with similar features to Facebook and other social media sites. You can grow your network, start groups, post events, and see why everyone is talking about StogieLives.com. Team, make sure to connect with Team Shirtless Mike and Herf Zone Live and tell me that you came because of the show. Team Shirtless Mike and Herf Zone Live are also getting behind a special project with Ace Prime Cigars and Stogie Press. They are working to raise money for a daycare center in Jalapa, Nicaragua, to help out workers in the cigar industry, among helping in other ways. As you know, Nicaragua has a lot of poverty, and in Jalapa, there is massive amounts of need, and there is a lot of cigars are produced. So I'm getting behind this along with others in the cigar industry to make a difference. The link to the Stogie Press article is in the show description. You can learn more about the project and make a donation by clicking the link in the description. Together, we can achieve more. So we have an awesome show lined up for everybody tonight. Hopefully, things are looking okay on the stream because I had a little bit of a slow start, but I'm good. What's going on, William White? I got my first comment here. And I want to send a special shout out to the people that responded to my Facebook post. I've chosen to start the show and smoke a hot cake while interviewing Erica. Yeah, tonight we got Erica Everett. And if you do not know Erica Everett, she is the former manager of Executive Cigar Shop and Lounge in beautiful downtown Melbourne. That's how I met her. And then she became a partner in Executive Sanford. And not too long after that, she went and moved to South Carolina and she started a brokerage called FBI NC. And she reps different brands such as HVC, Hiram and Solomon, Espinosa, and I don't know if there's anything else, but those are the brands that I know. So I'm going to get this cigar lit and then we're going to start the interview. That way people have a chance to kind of pour in like they are. All right. So, waiting patiently in the New England Cigar Militia Green Room, we have Erica Everett, and we are going to first talk about the giveaway, and then we're going to talk about, we're going to do the interview. So, what's going on, Erica?
Hey, Mike, how's it going?
Can you hear me, Erica? It's going good. Yeah, like I said, everything kind of. All right, cool. So everything started slow. I didn't hear you right away. So, but you are up and running. So yeah, we're gonna have this giveaway for getting to 300 subscribers just over the weekend or the end of last week. So, yeah. So you're. I know you're contributing a clutch, and if a Sister of the Leaf wins, that's gonna be added. Just as we talked about, and then you also got something else too, right? To add, or just the clutch?
Yes, so we were going to add from Executive Sanford a $50 gift card. So that'll be part of the giveaway that you do.
Yeah, so if it's a guy that wins, you're going to get a $50 gift card. You're going to get a Team Shirtless Mike shirt and a Team Shirtless Mike sticker, which I will send that from my Teespring store. And then if it's a Lady of the Leaf, you're going to get all that. And if it's a guy that wins, then we're just going to do a special giveaway just for the ladies. And I guess I'll have Erica come up with a question. And I know we got Dak. He's going to troll my page just to see, because on my personal page, I can't always see comments. I mostly see like my Shirtless Mike page and from YouTube. So, alrighty. So yeah, make sure you watch the show so you can see if you win or not and all that good stuff. So Erica, we're going to get into the interview now. So let's start at the beginning. Where did you grow up and what was it like growing up in your household?
Oh my goodness. So I was born in New York on Staten Island. I have to say that slowly. because if not, I get made fun of by my friend Tony Nardone, who says that I say Staten Island. But I grew up actually in Florida. So I grew up in Melbourne, and I grew up with as an only child, and I had great friends that became family and are still part of my family. So people are like, oh, was it sad being an only child? I never really felt that way because I've had the same best friend since I was 9 years old. And, we were actually pregnant at the same time with our first kids. And, through different states and everything, we've always stayed friends. So she's kind of like my sister. I have a couple other sisters and brothers I've gained along the way that are non-biological family. I do have 3 biological brothers that I was not raised with, but they live up north.
Oh, okay. And so, what kind of student were you in school? Did you make all the good grades and stayed on the straight and narrow, or were you just a terrible child?
I always say that my son is my mother's revenge. I had some moments where I was a decent student, but I had a problem where I talked too much. And so I didn't do terrible things, but all of my report cards, I remember looking back at my report cards from the time I was in kindergarten and first grade, and, Erica has trouble staying on task, talks too much. She's a sweet child, but she talks too much. We enjoy having her in class, but she talks too much. That meme that says, yo, teacher, there's no point in moving my seat. I talk to everyone. That was me. Not much has changed.
That kind of sounds like me, but although you seem like you're like a type A personality, though, to where you're just that go-getter. My stepmom's a type A personality, so you kind of remind me, just the way you just are focused when you're busy, like, but you get it done, but you could also relax too. That's one thing you kind of, but you gotta got to work to relax a little bit.
Yes, when I'm working, I'm more relaxed. I'm probably more comfortable working than anything. So was I a phenomenal student? No, but I've been working since I was 14 years old. Never stopped working. Have had multiple jobs at one time, and I think that my kids are like, if you won the lottery, you would never stop working, and I'm like, that's probably true. I would still work. I enjoy working, and I've been fortunate enough to always do something that I like, and because of that, I mean, it makes it seem like it's really not work when you're doing something that you enjoy.
Yeah, absolutely.
That.
Yep, absolutely. That's how I feel when it comes to being a cigar influencer, and hopefully one day I could, I'm still young enough to where maybe I can take it to the point where I can be in the cigar industry full time, because that's just how I feel. But did you go to college? And if you did, what college did you go to?
I am a Seminole. So, and that's actually
Nice.
where I had my first cigar. So there's a place in Tallahassee called Market Square Liquors. It's a liquor store, and that's where we got our craft beer. Our craft beer at the time was obviously nothing back in the early 90s like it is now. And that's actually when I had my first cigar. My college buddy, who I'm still friends with, Chris, he and I would go and, get some drinks and get cigars. So I think my first cigar was in like 1995 or something like that.
Oh, nice. And that kind of leads me into the next thing here. So, how long have you been smoking cigars, and what got you into smoking cigars? So, I think that answers that question. But if you have any more details, you can add that.
Yeah. No, I mean, I always say that that was my first cigar. Then I remember cigar. There was a cigar in like martini type place on Church Street. So I remember going downtown to Church Street in Orlando, because when you're from Melbourne, what you do is you drive to Orlando and go to Church Street when you're early 90s, and I had a cigar there. But obviously everything changes, and I don't feel like that's really when I started smoking cigars. When I started enjoying them and learning about them is when I started working at Executive, and more so when I became full-time as Executive, obviously. And then I really started to have an appreciation for it.
Nice. And so before you started working at Executive in Melbourne, what were you doing for a living on? I mean, I imagine you did different things. So kind of give us a rundown on that.
I did. So I've spent most of my life in retail management. I worked for the longest time for Barnes and Noble. Worked with books, specialty retail. I worked for Sephora. I worked for in HR for quite some time, and then right before I was working at an executive, or actually while I was working at executive, I worked at Florida Tech for a little bit, and then at my kids' school. And I worked at my kids' school so that I could be close to them and kind of have their hours. But again, I've always tended to have more than one job. So I would have my nice, calm demeanor during the day at the school. I'm sure the principal would say I was not calm. She would not let me be a chaperone for anything, because then she would say, well, who's going to chaperone you? And then I would go to the shop at night. So I'd always have to take a few minutes to kind of switch gears from, working at a Catholic school to working at a cigar bar.
Yeah, definitely. And eventually you start to manage Executive in downtown Melbourne. How did that situation come about for you?
So I was working part-time, and it started out because Tony, who's the owner of Executive, his wife, Kathy, we were at a party, and she's like, you're always tired all the time. And at that point, I was working another second job, and she's like, Tony's got something coming up. You should talk to him. And I'm like, oh, I don't know. And at that time, we had the kiosk in the mall. And that was actually my entrance into working at Executive, as I started working at the kiosk. So I worked the kiosk for a couple seasons, and I would kind of work off and on for the bartenders downtown in our old shop. And I was working, I think, 2 or 3 days. And then one of the bartenders left. That was a full-time bartender, Angie. You remember Angie? When Angie left, I picked up a few more hours. And
We lost connection. You lost sound. There you go.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Shortly after that, the manager left, and Tony was working open to close for, I don't know, he'll know the time, 40 something days. He was, kind of working open to close every day. And we joked around a couple of times because of my background in management that I would come work. And then if people have been in the shop, Tony and I have a very brother-sister relationship. So we tend to argue quite a bit. And so we were trying to figure out, is there a way that we can work together and not kill each other? So we tried it out, and it worked. And I went on full time, and, was there for a couple of years. And then we moved to the new shop, and that's that. Once I started working, I never stopped.
Definitely. And the joke's on Tony, by the way. Tony's
right.
watching. Joke's on you, Tony.
He better
and
be
so
watching.
Eventually, after being at Executive for a few years, then came the planning for the new shop next door, a 4,000 square foot space. And I know it took a lot of work. Take us through what it took to get the current Executive shop off the ground, the good, the bad, and the ugly, whatever you can share, because I know there's, personal stuff, but, just I saw you working a lot. So take us through that process, if you care to relive it.
Yes. Yeah. There's a lot of, okay. So how it all started was, Tony likes to tell the story. We were going to look at fixtures because what was in the shop before us was a dress shop. And the dress shop was starting to go out of business, and they were selling some fixtures. So we went over to look, and
there it goes. You lost sound.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. So we decided to go ahead and take a look at the fixtures. And the second time we went in there, I said, well, what are they going to do to this place? And they're like, oh, well, he's probably going to rent it out. I'm like, oh, really? And I'm looking around, and Tony looks at me. He's like, don't even think about it. No, the answer is no. I know you, I know where your brain is going, and we are not coming over here. So we laughed about it and kind of joked about it a little bit. And then this is what happens. This is how it all happened. The person that owned the shop said, "Oh, don't think about it because they'll never rent to a cigar shop." So I think as soon as Tony was told no, they will never rent to a cigar shop, he decided that this was maybe the next place that we had to be. And as it turned out, it wound up that he bought the building, and we started, I remember just sitting in there and just kind of looking, and Alfie came over, and from Alfie's barbershop, and Tony and I and Alfie would just like kind of sit there and stare, and try to figure out where things were going to be and everything. And once we knew where everything was supposed to be, like there was a natural flow of things, then a designer got involved, and one of our friends is a general contractor, and he started working with us. He actually recommended Brian Ellison, who did the design for the shop. And then that's it. Then it just took off. We thought it was going to be a quick build out, but as anybody knows that's done any type of construction build out, of course, it took much longer than we thought. Mm-hmm. And we were there for a little over a year when Tony was approached by my partner Tom from Sanford about building another executive. And at first it was a car ride to go see a shop, and then it was I was going to do a little bit of project management, and then the next thing I knew, I kind of jumped in with both feet, and Tom brought me in as a partner, and that was that. And so I was kind of working at executive and being the GM there, and obviously we have a great staff. That shop has been around for nearly 20 years. We have a great staff, and they are able to handle things. We have fierce women working, and they were able to keep things running and help Tony and things like that, so I could spend some time in Sanford. And of course the Sanford crew is amazing, and so my role at Sanford is director of operations. So there's managers that are in place, and I kind of just the kind of a safety net and just a resource to them. So when they need something, they let me know, and
yeah.
So that's that.
So yeah, you got the Melbourne shop open, all that good stuff, lots of work. Then you got approached, and you became the a partner in Sanford and everything. So I mean, when he approached you, like how long had this been in his mind to to open up a shop, especially in that location, because that's a perfect location. It's a beautiful location.
No, so there's a story that goes there too. So Tom had wanted to have a shop for so we've been friends, and he was a customer for 7 years. So I would say after the first year or so, he started talking about that he wanted to open a shop. And he had talked about a few different places, and he has a business partner in Sanford, Alex, and Alex, who is from the area, had said, "Hey, you know what? I think Sanford could really use a spot." And so we started looking at locations. The first location, well, they looked at many locations. The location that I first looked at, we looked at the water at the current spot, and then things were just not making sense there, numbers wise. And then we looked at a spot that was more like in the footprint of downtown Sanford. Mm-hmm. And that, luckily, that spot didn't work out. And we went back to the waterfront. They kind of made the deal work. We wound up taking an additional spot next door, which allowed us to put in the VIP room with 24-hour access. And then we have a couple residential condos above, so that Tom stays in one, and if I'm visiting or whatever. And then we have one that our reps use, or our VIP customers. I think a lot of people have gotten use out of it from people from Melbourne that were VIPs, without the lounge, but they're, still important to us, and
Yeah.
the VIP members over at Sanford. So that's
So
kind of how that
basically,
happened.
if I just, because I don't drink unless I'm at home normally or whatever. So if I show up there and I'm just like, I'm three shades to the wind, and if I get Yasmin, so I'm good then.
Listen, if you get Yasmin, that's all on her. She's got to provide some sort. She's really good, because typically if she Yasmins you, when you wake up at whatever point, she'll give you instruction. The last time I was Yasmin, and I woke up, she told me that where I was going, where everything was of mine, and took care of the whole thing. So it was great. No, it's more of a, in advance type of thing. Like, I know we're going to be in Sanford for the weekend, or, one of the board members has somebody coming into town, or something like that. So it's not a, at that moment type of thing. Now, we'll certainly hope to get you home safely however we can, but yeah, no, it's not for that.
Yeah, no, I was just playing, because I'm very
No, but people
special.
think that. People think, oh, we're just gonna crawl upstairs and go to sleep. Yeah, no, it doesn't.
No, definitely. Okay, so enough of my bad influence over people. so, so basically, the next thing I'm going to touch on is like, you were basically traveling back and forth between both shops. Like, I mean, that's like an hour, little over an hour drive, between the shops. Like, how did you manage your time during that time period?
Well, if you ask my boss, would probably say not very well. They both would probably say we wish that you managed it better. Man, I just tried to do what I could to, be where I needed to be when I needed to be. Like I said, I relied greatly on, the people that were in both of those buildings, and, um, on, Tony in Melbourne, and Tom is not so much involved in the operations, but like I said, we've been really lucky that we had some great people that were help. Emily, Emily,
Hmm.
Emily and Travis and Dak and Lori and Lori's whole family, who helped us, open the spot. I mean, Pam, everybody. Um, they made it very easy. So when I was even the days that I was like tired, I'm like, I am not going to be able to do this. I had great people that were counting on me. So, and
Awesome.
I had little people at home that I had to try to make some time for as well.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. So after you got both shops open, you eventually, moved to South Carolina,
Mm-hmm.
to be with your boyfriend, and you announced that you were starting your own independent cigar brokerage while coming back monthly to handle business in Sanford. So, for those who think that being a broker or rep is an easy job, give us the rundown of how you started your brokerage, and about your territory and brands in your portfolio. I don't know if you have any more than what I announced, but from what I know, if you took on
I have
any new ones.
iconic leaf. I have iconic leaf as well, and I don't know if you mentioned that one as well.
No, I didn't know that. Otherwise, I would have talked
Yep.
about that too. But
Yep.
this hot cake, man, I actually bought quite a few when I was in Melbourne, and I got Jesse
Good.
Hall on. I've been getting him to try some different stuff lately. Like,
Nice.
I would go to the shop and he's there and be like, "Hey, bro, here, bro, here, bro."
That's good. Yeah. So I was moving up here, and I obviously needed to have a job. And what do you do when you need a job? You go to your friends. So obviously, my first call was to um, friends, and also the brand that I most connected with,
Mhm.
and that was Espinosa. Um, Obviously, we had gone to Espinosa was part of our lineup in Melbourne and in Sanford as well. I'd been invited to Lazona Palooza and been able to do that. It was the first cigar brand that I really fell in love with multiple cigars, and was, if you talk to Zach and Rob, they'll say, "Ah, fangirl." But it's true that, I really was. I thought it was really awesome how the brand really talked to the consumers directly,
Mhm.
and was supportive of the consumers. And, Eric makes everybody feel special, and he remembers people, and um, if you're smoking his cigars and you're posting and you're interacting, he knows who you are. So that's kind of where I went first. And Hiram and Solomon had done some really good events with us, and I wanted to work with a brand that I thought gave back in certain ways. And how do you give back better than working with an organization like Shriners or
Mm-hmm.
and then the other stuff just kind of happened along. Some of the reps that were my reps in Florida, they were able to introduce me to some people, and that's kind of how I brought the other brands along. I have an accessory line I saw as well, and that one was more about, I kept going to people. We would talk about the cigars that I represented, and then of course I talked too much, and so then we wound up talking in shop owner to shop owner, manager to manager, and what works for us and what works for you and those things. And I'd be like, well, this is a product that, we fell in love with and we like, and you should call. So I kept, saying the name. And then finally I'm like, all right, listen, I'm selling your product anyway. So you want to give me a shot or what? So my territory is the Carolinas, and I have North and South Carolina. I'm probably in North Carolina more than I am South Carolina.
Yeah.
And that's today I'm in Charlotte. I'm at Tailored Smoke, which I know you've been here.
No, actually, I was going to be, but then everybody I was meeting up with wanted to meet up somewhere else. But
Where'd
that
you
was
see Preston?
he came by the other shop that I was at.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So
And
now you got to come
next time
visit.
I'm definitely coming to Tailored Smoke though, because I already know I'm gonna have that VIP treatment, and I'm just gonna tell people, like, look, this is where I'm going. If y'all don't want to go, fine, I'm gonna be there anyway.
There are great shops everywhere. There are
And
great shops.
especially since you said you're only like what, an hour, from where you're at. You're only
Yeah,
like an hour from Charlotte, so yeah. And I didn't know how close that was. Otherwise, I would have been like, "Yo, come through."
yeah.
But now I
It's
know.
so this was one of the first places I came because I felt like I knew these guys. And Boston Jimmy, actually, when he had rated Cigar, had done his Stogie Press Cigar Shop of the Year, when Melbourne had first opened. That year we got number 2 Cigar Shop of the Year, and Tailored Smoke got number 1. So of course I'm like Googling, who is this Tailored Smoke Shop? I got to see who these people are. How did they get number 1 over us and everything? And so I kind of connected with online with Joe Schmo and with Preston, and so I kind of felt like I knew them when I got here. So it was, it can be very intimidating going in and talking to people that you don't know, when I'm so used to the opposite of people coming to me. I mean, within my first week, I think I called and apologized to all of my reps for all different kinds of things. But and the reps that we have in Melbourne and Sanford have been amazing to me and super, super crazy helpful, and great sounding boards and stuff. But that's where I kind of felt a little bit more comfortable coming here, because it's a lot of repeatedly trying to get people. First, they have to trust you, right? Because
Yeah,
it's surprising to me. Like, to me, everyone should know Espinosa, right? Like, to me, it's like, forgive me, Padron. Everybody knows Padron. Like, to me, like, why wouldn't you know Espinosa? Well, going to shops and they don't know Espinosa, I'm like, what do you mean you don't know? Like, so I found that they kind of have to know me first, and I feel like I wind up spending a lot of time talking about other brands so they understand, okay, she does understand cigars, and I know about, I smoke everything, right? I smoke all
yeah.
across the board. Of course, I smoke mostly the brands I represent, but I smoked them before I ever worked for them.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that that's part of it, so that people understand. And we've talked about Sisters of the Leaf, and I think sometimes it can be a challenge for women still. Like, this is a very accepting industry, and it's super awesome, that I feel like it's all inclusive in a lot of ways. And you can have an executive and a politician and a oil rig worker and a janitor, a woman, everybody sitting down together, and it doesn't matter, because we all have a common bond of cigars. Um, but still, it's obviously a heavily male dominated industry. So it's really cool to see. I'm seeing all of these women's cigar groups popping up all over the place, and serious about smoking cigars. And, there's always been women who smoke cigars. I'm not saying that this is new, but it's really great. We're a fast growing demographic. Women love to have education.
Mm-hmm.
I know one of the things when I first started, because I was intimidated because I didn't know as much as, some of the customers that were coming in, as I wanted to know binder, wrapper, filler, origin, all these things. And I remember Tony be like, I don't necessarily memorize all those things for every cigar, and I don't regurgitate it to the customers. I don't think that, that they all care so much. And I'm like, well, why wouldn't they care what they're smoking? Well, guys know what they like, and that's just it. Women, I think, are a little bit more inquisitive.
Yeah.
And I feel like they're a very educated consumer, and they that's, I guess, by nature, that's kind of what we do. We ask questions. Laurel Tilley did a seminar for us one time, and I will never forget that it was for Fierce Ramirez, the women's cigar group in Melbourne, and all the guys, and I think Jesse Hall might have been one of them, that were like starting to kind of move their chairs in because they wanted to hear what she had to say, because it wasn't like all these fun stories and jokes and stuff like that. She was really getting down to the nitty gritty of the cigars and the tobacco,
Mm-hmm.
and the soil and the regions, and the women were really digging it, and the guys were too. So that's
Definitely. And Laurel, I follow her online, and she knows her stuff when it comes to
oh yeah.
cigars. She's like, I mean, I know a lot, but I wish I could regurgitate some of the information that she knows, because she definitely knows a lot, and she can put you up on game. So
Oh, there are a ton of women there are so many cool women in this industry. I mean, um, you know, and everybody has a different role, right? You have strong women that are, running companies and working in family business, like Liana Fuente, and you have influencer women that are, doing a great job, like Melanie, and you have women that are out there, reps that are working in the company. Still, not as many as men, but some of our best reps have been female. Um,
mm-hmm.
and people say, well, does it matter if it's male or female? No, I mean, it doesn't. But again, it is a heavily male dominated business. So as women, I think it's fun to support each other. And I've seen some really cool supportive groups lately, which is really nice, where they're like, hey, we see you scrolling past pictures. How long, how much does it take to, tell your sister of the leaf, hey, that cigar looks great. You look great, have a happy day, whatever. And
Yeah.
it's true, because I feel like we have this voyeuristic, lifestyle. We're looking at people on Facebook or influencers, and we're scrolling and, not often taking the time to be like, hey, this person takes, what they're doing to heart, and they're, producing content on whatever level it is, or, even if it's snapping a selfie of a cigar that they like, whatever. I mean,
Yep.
how much longer does it take to hit the like button, or to, share something, or, be excited about what they're being excited about?
2 seconds. That's all.
Right.
and and so now that you've been a broker for a while, do you have any brands that are selling better than others, or do they sell about as well as each other? You
They're
definitely
all
got some.
wonderful. I mean, are you
You,
crazy?
yeah, you got
You
some
think I'm
heavy
gonna
hitters.
you think I'm gonna touch that with a 10-foot pole? They're all amazing. They all do wonderful.
Yeah.
There are certain cigars, I'm fortunate enough that, I have some very um some cigars that have hit a lot of media this year.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Hot Cake, or, I'm smoking the Laranja Oscuro tonight, which was Cigar Snob's Cigar of the Year.
Yep.
I mean, it's all good stuff. We all know this, right? Now, we all know that there are a ton of great cigars out there, right? There are so many great cigars. I'm lucky to represent some of my favorites, and that's why I feel like I'm in a good position. I don't have to try to pretend that I, like something that I'm selling. They're all part of my daily lineup.
Absolutely. And I know you're like me. You try and smoke some of everything. On the rare occasions you aren't smoking for work, what have you been enjoying in
Mm.
your personal smoking time lately?
Okay, so I just left the band. Somebody just gave me a cigar that they had in their humidor for about 15 years, and I can't remember the name of it, so I'm gonna have to circle back. It's something that's not around, but it was Casa something Maria, Casa something Maria. I have to look it up. Something I hadn't heard of. But some of the cigars that I smoke on a regular basis would be like I like the La Aurora Preferidos. I don't, gosh, so many things. Obviously, I like, I like my Fuente. I do a lot of Roma. Super excited about Danny Vasquez's new cigar that's coming out. I never had the original Voyage, so I smoked that, the reboot, when it came out, and I thought it was phenomenal. So I was super excited about that.
Yep.
Oh,
and he's coming to Sanford April 17th.
He is. He's coming to Sanford, so we're really excited. But I have I get in these fixes where I'll think about a cigar, and I'll need to smoke it. Like today, Alex had posted from smoking the Monte Cristo Epic Craft Cured, right? So it's got a Rosado Oscuro wrapper. It's super yummy. Now I cannot stop thinking about that cigar, and I'm not going to be able to stop thinking about it until I smoke it. Though it's weird stuff that gets in my head. Like you forget about cigars, and I was so happy this year to see Casa Turant up there on the list, because that's something that I've always enjoyed. When people say, what's your favorite cigar, I'm like, well, pick a cabinet and I'll tell you a cigar from that cabinet that I like. Or I like to smoke a Knox or Nica Rustica because they're super super smoky, or or a Liga. I like the silkiness of a Monte Cristo Espada. I like the Preferidos from La Aurora because I can smoke it down to the very last little bit, and it's great. I love Avos because I know that I can punch it and it's going to be like the perfect draw. It depends on the day. I mean, what do you like to drink? I mean, I guess some people like to drink the same thing. I like to drink different things, or you don't eat the same food every day. You don't drink the same drink every day.
Yep, that leads me to the next thing. So, what is your favorite drink pairing with a cigar? It could be alcoholic or non-alcoholic.
Coffee. My favorite pairing is coffee. My favorite Saturday morning is probably, I say this, people, a CAO Colombia and coffee on a Saturday morning. I think is phenomenal. I like drinking, bourbon. I was kind of hesitant with wine and cigars, and I do enjoy red wine, but I was talking to Robert Caldwell and Tony Bellato on one of our Zooms one time, and they were talking about, no, wine actually pairs really, really well. So now my favorite wine pairing would be like a Cab Franc and a nice rich Oscuro wrapper. But I mean, I'll drink bourbon with anything. So,
Yeah, kind of goes good with a lot of cigars, and
yeah,
I'm not big on bourbon.
Oh no.
No, I mean, if I mixed it, like there's certain things I like to drink straight. Like I drink like bamboo. I like that straight. It's nice and sweet.
Yeah.
There's certain things that I'll either mix it or I'll drink it straight. It all just depends on what it is. Depends on the time, because sometimes I just can't. I just don't like it if it's straight. Yeah. But
I mean, I like bourbon straight. I don't like, I always thought I was going to love rum in a cigar. And there are a few rums that I really enjoy drinking it straight. But sometimes I rather have, honestly, a rum and Coke with a rum and a Mexican Coke than having just like something neat with a cigar. But
yeah,
I can tell you my favorite cigar to pair. My favorite cigar to pair with is the Laranja. I think it's the Laranja and Old Fashioned is like, I love that. If I'm going to drink, if a mixed drink or something like that, I love a Laranja and an Old Fashioned. I think it tastes great.
Nice. I do like Scotch though. That's one thing I will drink straight. It's a little strong. It's an acquired taste, but of all things, even though Scotch is pretty, it can be harsh sometimes. It's really strong, but I've I've had some good scotches, but I had Mike Bellady one time. After Boston Jimmy's birthday, we went over to what was it, Foo Bar
Yeah.
across the street, and then so Mike Bellady was buying drinks. I said, "Order me a scotch. I don't care. I trust you because you're rich as fuck." So, so in Sanford, you guys are starting a
So I
meeting
like
just for the.
scotch, but not
Go ahead.
peaty. Yes. No, I was gonna say I like scotch. Like I mean, don't get me wrong. You give me, Johnny Blue, and I'm all over it. But I don't like anything peaty. And people are like, oh, well, if it's a good scotch and it's peaty, no, it doesn't matter. I mean, I've had some. We have bottles that are, a couple grand, and I don't want to drink Campfire. That's what it tastes like to me. I just don't like it.
Yeah, definitely.
But and
So,
also I love my Guinness. And if I'm gonna do a mild cigar, I like it with a Guinness. Somebody had said something about a beer, so I know that I don't do a lot of beer and cigars, but if I'm smoking something light, I want to have a porter or a stout with it. But yes, sorry,
nice.
Sisters of the Leaf Sanford is
Yeah. So I kind of got to cut off. So I'm just gonna. In Sanford, you're starting a meeting just for Sisters of the Leaf. Is that like an extension of Fierce Primeras, or is it just exclusive to Sanford?
Well, I mean, I don't know that anything is exclusive. I mean, we are going to have members from Fierce Primeras come to the meetings, and just like members of Sisters of the Leaf Sanford will go to Fierce Primeras.
Yeah.
Fierce Primeras is Yasmin. So those of you who don't know, Yasmin is the cocktail and cigar concierge at Executive Melbourne, and she created the Fierce Primeras group, which is a women's cigar group. And she created that because when she started working for us, first of all, I have to say, it took us 2 years to get her to work for us. Like literally, I dated this girl as my bartender for 2 years to try to get her to come and work for us. And when she got there, she already kind of had in her head some things that she thought, some things have got to change around here. One thing that she thought that we were lacking was, if we were saying that we were inclusive to women, we were saying women are welcome, and she wanted to have women welcome and educated, and so she started that all on her own, obviously with support from Tony and with support from brands. And I'll tell you again, Espinosa was one of the first brands that we used in the meetings, and then Hiram and Solomon, Heather Callahan had came out and came to one of our meetings. She's been to, I think, a few of our meetings all over. Laurel from Macanudo.
Shouts out to Heather.
Yeah. So I would not say that they are, exclusive to their location. They're definitely, it's an opportunity for women to come together to talk about cigars. Do we throw in some other stuff as well? Absolutely. It's not just always about cigars, but some women can feel intimidated when they come into the cigar shop, and maybe they're just trying to learn, because nothing is more slap in the face than walking into a cigar shop and someone saying, oh, well, I can find a nice flavored cigar for you. Not my favorite thing. No offense to anybody who smokes flavored cigars, but that's not something that a lot of women want to smoke. They shoot, I mean, Angela's
Oh yeah.
smoking. Listen, Aliana, who is another one of the girls that worked with, the very first cigar that she ever smoked was at our first Fierce Primeras meeting, and we had Espinosa. So I tried to say, okay, well, you can start with this crema. I'm not giving her a flavored cigar, but let's start with this crema because it's nice and mild. So she sees Murcielago and she's like, oh no, I want to start with that one. I'm like, oh no, you definitely don't want to start with that one. She's like, no, I really think I'm going to try it. She smoked the whole cigar, didn't throw up, became, one of our regular members, started coming in all the time. She would stock up for vacation. I remember the first time she was going on a cruise, she came in and stocked up for cigars. I was so excited. And then, again, 2 years later, and then she wound up working for us. So,
Yep. And now she's a fixture.
yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So this next part of the show here is all the fun questions and everything. So, but while before I get into that though, everybody that's out there watching, If you're on YouTube, share it out, and let the ladies of the Leaf know that it's almost time for the giveaway in just a few minutes. If you're on Facebook, make sure you share it out. You can share it from my personal page, or you can share it from my Shirtless Mike page, wherever you're watching from, or YouTube. You could, hit that share button so we can get more ladies. I saw Edka, she was on here, but we need more ladies just in case a
That's
lady
right.
does not win the subscriber giveaway, because I'm going to have Erica come up with a question. So we'll need to see ladies answering in the comments. And I want to make sure we get as many ladies in the chat, prior to that, because we want to give this away live on the show so that, Erica can be contacted and given an address to send that to that lucky lady. So tell the ladies, come on in the chat, share it out for me. And I'm going to get to the fun questions now, all the creative questions, and then we'll do the giveaway right after. So the first one is, what would be the theme song of your life?
Oh my God. Is there a song called Welcome to the Shit Show? I don't know. I mean, I can't.
There might be.
Manic Monday. Manic Monday. I think that would be that would be a good theme song for my life.
Nice. And what's the craziest, most daring thing you have ever done?
My children have access to YouTube. Let me think. Craziest thing I've ever done. I don't know. That's a hard question. Like, I'm trying to think of what some of the decide that it would be a good idea to open a cigar shop and manage one at the same time. I don't know. That was pretty crazy. I don't think I don't no skydiving.
We got some more people here.
Oh dear God. You're supposed to block that one. That's I see Zach's on. Whatever Zach asks, don't repeat it. Don't read it out loud. I don't even need to know.
I just put them up. We got her cigar clutch LLC tuning in.
So that's Deborah from Her Cigar Clutch. She is the one who came up with the cool cigar clutches, and I found her on Instagram by chance. And I thought, you know what? I keep telling people you gotta support Sisters of the Leaf, and I wound up having an offline conversation with her, and I thought she was the coolest person. I said, I am going to make sure I tell everybody about your cigar clutch. So she's very cool. Hi, Deborah.
We got her tuning in. All right, so what has been your most embarrassing moment?
I don't even think I was there for my most embarrassing moment, but you know how any moment that involves Zach, Benz Aaron, and Rob Riordan, and anybody in the cigar industry, because they just really are awful. But probably my most embarrassing is we had an event at the shop that I wasn't even there for, which was with Sean Williams and from Cohiba. And I had mentioned that, I mean, if you meet Sean Williams, like, you don't forget that you meet Sean. He's a big guy, he's got a presence about him, so dapper or whatever. And so it's become a thing that I guess at my expense, they had many laughs at the meeting. So finding out that I had been, they had told Sean that please sign the poster. She's going to put it above her bed and all these crazy nonsense things. And I'm like, thanks, guys. So that was pretty embarrassing, because then now if I see him, like, my face is all red and I can't even like have a normal conversation with the guy.
Yeah, that's funny. And so what would be your perfect day?
My perfect day would be to start the day in the morning. I've told people this before, to go to Cigar Hustler in Deltona in the morning and listen to KMA and have some coffee and drink a cigar, or drink some coffee and smoke a cigar.
Drink a cigar.
And then this is my favorite cigar day, by the way. And then I would go over to another cigar shop that's in Sanford, and I would hang out and play dominoes with them And then there's Celery City Cigar in Sanford, and I'd have a beer and lunch and another cigar. And then I would go back to Sanford and finish off the night. I always say that that's my favorite cigar day. If I could if Melbourne was closer and I could get in there too, I'd probably want to do that as well. But that's kind of, I remember the first time I went to Lazona Palooza, the Saturday morning, I woke up, had breakfast, I went to there, and I was watching Florida State play surrounded by brothers and sisters of the Leaf, drinking a phenomenal beer, the Chico Laranja beer from Kaufner Brewery, and smoking a cigar. KMA is being recorded in the background, and it was like heaven to me. I'm like, this is the best. I'm like, beer, cigars, football, brothers and sisters of the Leaf. It was phenomenal. So
Awesome.
home
And
life,
so,
I would say, be with my kids, of course. I mean, that's generic. But
oh yeah, definitely. What's your all-time favorite memory?
oh man, and that'll have to say is personally, anytime laughing with my kids. That's going on vacations with my best friends and their kids and my kids, and watching our kids laugh together. Is that's my favorite thing to do, is watch my kids play with my best friends' kids, and watching them grow up together is really awesome.
Definitely. And if you had a time machine, would you visit the past or visit the future?
I'd probably, could I bring anybody with me? I would
If you
probably
want
visit.
to.
I would bring my daughter with me to meet my mom. That's probably what I would do. My mom
Hmm.
never got to meet my daughter.
Oh, well, sorry about that. Um, what food do you crave most often?
Guacamole,
Hmm.
hands down.
And and if you could visit one place on Earth, where would you go?
Santorini, Greece, or Kenya.
Nice.
Different reasons, but probably equal. Santorini or Kenya.
Nice. And what has been your favorite vacation from all your life?
Um, I don't know. I mean, I feel like, you go places with different people and have different experiences. And so, um, most recently, my favorite vacation was probably my work trip to, Honduras. I would say that's probably, one of my favorite places. I was with customers and my partner and my boyfriend and everybody. We had a great time, kind of learning and exploring together. So it was really awesome. And the best part was, you know, some of my customers from Melbourne who I knew a little bit better saying, "Have I smoked this? Do you think I would like this?" And that trust that your customers, wind up having with you means a lot. So that was really cool.
Oh yeah. And lastly here, what is your favorite part of your career?
Right now, I right now I'm really happy where I am now. I'm still um, involved with Sanford, obviously. I work as a brand manager for the executive name, so I still get to work with my um, brother, my non-biological brother Tony. So I would say right now it's pretty friggin' awesome.
Definitely. All right, so we're gonna get into the part of the show where I'm gonna put. I already have the wheel loaded up. So basically,
All
the way
right.
this giveaway worked. So I got to 300. I asked people to share the video, like, and then comment after they subscribed. Uh, a good amount of people commented, but not all the directions were followed. So what I had to go by was the comments. So those are the people that's going to benefit, and you'll get a $50 Sanford gift card, and you also get a Team Shirtless Mike shirt and sticker. And I got lady stuff, so if a lady wins, they're gonna get a female shirt, and also if a lady wins, then the clutch purse will also um, we'll go into that prize pack. But if a guy wins, then they're gonna win the other stuff, and then
But
the
wait,
clutch.
wait, but wait, there's more, because we also, if it's a guy, they can wait because there is a male version coming very soon. So it's not
Okay.
going to be just for women. So Deborah's got a line coming. So if it's a guy, I mean, obviously I would love to do something special for Sisters of the Leaf, and maybe we'll have to, you know, this one is sponsored by Executive Sanford, so maybe we can get another one of somebody went, yeah, I want the purse. So.
John Belly.
Listen,
Leave it
I
to
don't
Belly.
carry a purse. It's a cigar case. I don't carry purses. Like, that's not, I don't do that. So they can either, you know, get the, you know, kind of wait for a little bit, or they can give the purse, see, I got to say purse. They can give the clutch to a Sister of the Leaf. They can wait for the men's versions. And then we can maybe do another giveaway of another clutch at another time.
All
It's
right,
up to you.
so
Just
you
show.
still want to? Yeah, no, it's fine. I'm cool with whatever. I just figured, but so the men's thing is coming May 1st. She just posted. So,
Oh,
well,
nice.
you know what? Just to make it easier, just in case, and that way there's no waiting or whatever. If a guy wins, he can give it to his wife or another Sister of the Leaf. How about let's just do that? Well, I'll just throw it together, and I just come up with stuff on the fly. So
Look at you.
I'll go
Look at
ahead.
you.
I just do it on the fly, so I don't prepare as extensively. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this up on the screen here, and then I will have to click over here, and so I'm gonna spin it. So whoever wins, they can, if it's a dude, they can give the purse to their lady. So let's begin. All right, so it looks like it is Dwayne Schaefer. I don't know if you can see that on screen. So Dwayne Schaefer won.
Woo,
So
Dwayne.
I haven't seen him comment, but but I'll reach out to him because he follows what I do, and I'll get his address to you, and I'll send out his thing from my end because I
Got it.
got to order. I order everything at my cost, and just from Teespring. So, oh yeah, speaking
Okay.
of, you got that Team Shirtless Mike shirt that you bought. So, have you been
Oh, I
rocking it
know.
yet?
I have. I actually, so I was visiting shops before I got here, and I should have put it back on, but I have my Team Shirtless Mike shirt. Of course I do.
Oh, I know you do. That's what I was saying. I was trying to see if you was already rocking it. So that's cool. So yeah, Dwayne Schaefer is the winner. If you're watching, you can reach out to me, reach out to you though, and get your address. I'll have everything sent out to you, and then you can that fee. I know the way we've done it was a little, we kept changing it up or whatever, but that's I don't do a lot of giveaways, so I'm still perfecting the craft of that. But either way, we definitely hook people up on Herf Zone Live. Erica, I really appreciate you for coming on the show. We're almost at the hour mark here. Is there anything else that you wanted to say, talk about, or the floor is yours before we get off of here?
No, I just want to say thank you for, always, I remember the day that I met you and you came into the shop and you're like, yeah, certain people think that, this shop is clicky and this and that, but, I thought I'd give it a try. You know me, you know who I am. It wasn't Shirtless Mike then. You had a different moniker that you went by at that
Yeah,
time. And I'm like,
yeah,
thinking to myself, I'm like, I have
yeah.
no
That's when
idea
I
who
was
you
like kind
are.
of promoting.
Yep.
Yeah, that's when
And
I
I'm
was like
like,
start kind of promoting a little bit, but not in the cigar
yeah.
realm. But I eventually found my lane. So
Yes. So it was cool. It's been awesome watching you kind of change gears, and you've been super supportive of me, and I love that you have different Sisters of the Leaf on. I think it's really awesome. So I appreciate it. Thank you from the sisters.
cool. Definitely. Well, everybody that tuned in tonight, I thank you guys so much. And if you have not subscribed already, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, hit that bell, share the show with people, and let them know that you watch Herf Zone Live, all that good stuff. And next week, let me tell you about next week, okay? So next week, I'm having Mike and Mike from a Cigar Hustlers podcast.
Oh
And
man,
that's gonna be a slapdick of a show, but it's gonna be fun.
that is slapstick. Yeah,
It's their
yeah.
thing. But yeah,
They're
so
hysterical.
you will be seeing the flyers coming out in just a couple of days. I already shared it in FCC to give people a heads up as an
Nice.
exclusive to them. So I mean, we're gonna have another awesome show like we do, and then after that, I have an extra special guest with my first really big guest, somebody that actually reached out to me who's big in the industry, and I was gonna reach out to them eventually, but they were like, why don't we do your show? So I got him. Then after that, I'm gonna make that announcement. Then I'm just gonna keep it a secret. But after that, I'll have Greg Free on the 13th from Fuerte Libre Cigars, and he sent me an awesome care package. So I'm gonna be smoking his cigar and representing on the show. So yeah, thank you everybody for tuning in. Erica, we could talk a little bit after we're not live anymore, so we could talk shit. But you guys have a wonderful night and peace out.